Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat.
If the old Rice-A-Roni commercial theme song used to get stuck in your head, imagine listening to people sing it every day.
A million times.
If I had a penny for every time, I'll be rich.
The Rice-A-Roni theme song may be iconic, but Hector Godinez says it's not as iconic as the cable cars he's been operating for more than 20 years.
It's weird. It's a beautiful, weird feeling when you're driving this cable car.
Cable cars are one of San Francisco's most popular and recognizable tourist attractions. Every day, it takes tourists up and down steep streets and past famous stops like the Fisherman's Wharf and the iconic windy Lombard Street. But on this trip, Carlos is dropping me off at the end of the line to meet his boss Arn Hansen at the Mason Street Cable Car Barn.
This is the cable car barn. We're the only one in the world left, and the only cable cars left in the world, the only moving National Historic Monument.
Most of the cable cars in the barn are over 100 years old, the oldest built in 1887. Arn says he's spent the better part of his life working around these relics and takes maintaining them seriously because they're the last of the last.
There are no other ones in the world.
So if they're gone, they're gone. That's it.
Well, that's why the 1906 earthquake took a few out, but they did rebuild those.
Maintaining and restoring a fleet of antique cable cars is a never-ending job, and few people can repair the archaic mechanics on these people movers.
What is this piece of wood here?
This is a track brake.
This is the brakes?
Yes.
Mechanic Fesimone Copagna says the cable cars may have primitive parts, but they're safe. Cable cars undergo extreme amounts of wear and tear, and some parts, like the wood brakes, which must be replaced every 2 or 3 days, are effective and cheap. But not all parts are cheap.
How often do you have to change these?
This one lasts about 100 to 150 days.
Another piece of equipment that takes a lot of wear and tear are the 4 cables that run under the streets of San Francisco. Each one weaves through a series of pulleys at a constant 9.5 miles an hour.
What does a cable like this cost?
Well, they're good. They're close to 100,000 plus and more for the longer ones. The longest cable we have is over 4 miles long.
Huh. I'm starting to understand why you don't see cable cars around the United States anymore. Very expensive.
Very expensive.
Yes, the cable cars can be expensive to operate, but they've also played a very important part in the early development of San Francisco.
And nobody built on the hills in San Francisco because you couldn't get up there.
Yeah.
So cable cars opened up the hills to development.
Mike Phipps is the director of the Cable Car Museum, a free museum located at the Mason Street Cable Car Barn. Mike says San Francisco owes a lot to cable cars and inventor Andrew Halliday.
Andrew Halliday and his father came from Scotland. They held a lot of patents for wire rope, which is what we call cable today.
During the gold rush, Halliday's wire rope or cable was used to move heavy gold ore carts up and down mountains because it was durable. In 1873, Halliday started using his cables to move people up and down San Francisco's hills.
It was a success from the beginning. He made a tremendous amount of money, good return on his investment.
Before long, cable car companies were popping up all over the city. For decades, it was the primary way to get around until the 1940s when powerful diesel buses were introduced.
But they elected a mayor in 1944, Mayor Lapham, very famous, Eastern shipping magnate, and he decided that as the war was coming to an end, we needed to get with the times.
At the time, the cable car system was falling apart, and replacing them with buses seemed to be the cheapest option. But an activist by the name of Friedel Klusman started a movement to save the cable cars, which eventually went up for a vote.
And it won 3-1. San Franciscans did not want to see their cable cars ripped out.
And thanks to that vote, cable cars are one of San Francisco's top attractions, moving tourists from stores to restaurants across the city. I guess you could say it's a San Francisco treat. From the cable cars in San Francisco, I'm John Bartell. Hope to see you on the Backroads.